And good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show video live stream. I'm Ken Lundberg, and I love it when the studio is filled, when all the microphones have happy friends in front of them. And that's what today is. So we have, let's see, in studio right now, we have Marcy Hamilton with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. We have Brian Wisniewski. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. A shareholder with Hungerford. And I can tell it's tax season. So you do a lot of taxes?
Yeah, good portion of them.
Okay. Do you like doing taxes?
39 years of doing it, so yeah. I
Okay. Right. Not just a hobby anymore.
No.
Okay. And then also Sarah Spoonholtz with Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Good morning, Sarah. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good morning.
As I was mentioning on the radio, it seems like forever ago that we were at the Lake Michigan College. You were doing the business recognition event, the awards.
Yeah.
Have you recovered from that yet?
No. We all walked in that following Monday, ended up going back to the office. We had lunch. We went back to the office, did a few things. Most of the team cut out. Arthur and I were there until 5:30 that Friday. So, a 12+ hour day.
Yikes.
And Monday, we all kind of walk in and we're like, why did we do this like a week later when we could have done it a week earlier and had today off? And yeah, so we're all kind of recovering, and it's good though. It's good.
Yeah. Really busy. I mean, in one of the news stories that we had a soundbite from Arthur, who was talking about this exciting new apartment development.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. Obviously, the Snowflake Motel property has been vacant for quite a while now.
Yeah.
The hotel having been torn down a while ago. So it's a great opportunity, and it fits perfectly a lot of the need for what we're seeing. Teachers, first responders will get priority placement in there.
Oh.
And I don't know if I was supposed to say that out loud.
Okay.
Or not,
That's
so
fine.
sorry.
You said it now. So
I said it now. But that is the goal. Obviously, we are facing a teacher shortage because they don't have places to live. So trying to make this an opportunity that it is beneficial to all and creates, more of a reason for people to come to Southwest Michigan.
really glad to see the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber behind that, because, I mean, you've been pushing housing issues for a good period of time and really trying to push it forward now.
Yep, absolutely. Especially with Strong Towns. We are official partner with Strong Towns now, doing local conversations. So it just kind of seems to have meshed in perfectly with it. And I'm super excited because I saw the renderings and I'm like, that's really cool. Like it's gorgeous. It's stunning.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be something that is going to help pull population to Southwest Michigan.
Is it going to keep the snowflake configuration?
It will not.
Ah.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Maybe they can have a picture of it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That'd be cool.
I mean, Frank Lloyd Wright.
I know, right? I took a drone there. I was telling you off air, I took a drone there to try to get a picture of the snowflake over and above it.
Yeah.
Couldn't.
No.
Yeah, weeds and everything else. But anyway. All right. We'll be back with more. We've got to get to some news. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We'll be right back. And good morning again, and welcome back to the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's Tuesday, March 4th. Happy to have you here. 42 degrees and cloudy skies. Is it still raining out there, Marcy Hamilton?
No, it wasn't raining when I came in.
Okay, good. So just cloudy, but there's an 80% chance of that rain continuing all day today. So be aware. It's wet, she says. Beware of that. It's 41 degrees and cloudy in St. Joseph right now, 41 degrees and cloudy in South Haven and in Dowagiac and in New Buffalo and in Buchanan, all over the place. It's cloudy and 40-some-odd degrees. Forecast for today, I mean, it's going to be rainy today, and we need the rain because my car is dirty and it needs a wash. Cloudy skies, 80% chance of rain, a high around 53. Breezy conditions, the winds from the south up to 20 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, cloudy, at 100% chance of rain, windy, Low around 46 degrees overnight. Southeast winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're looking at cloudy skies again and another 80% chance of rain showers, changing possibly by late afternoon to snow. So be aware, but don't know what time yet. They're thinking it's going to turn to snow, but the high is going to be around 50. And then as that southwest wind blows in at 10 to 20 miles per hour, the temperatures are going to cool off, and we're going to have a possibility of snow tomorrow afternoon. Some of the news that we're following in the WSJM newsroom this morning: the South Haven City Council heard an earful last night about proposed updates to its short-term rental regulations. During Monday's regular city council meeting, a public hearing was held to take comment on their new proposal. Residents spoke largely against what they see as too many restrictions. Roxanne Leader of Decadent Dogs Business spoke against the new rules and in favor of keeping a welcoming environment for the short-term rental industry in South Haven.
I will say that this city re-embraced tourism as something that they could count on to build this community.
Ashley Greer, owner of Lake Michigan Linen Services, said short-term rental owners will be harmed by the changes, and if approved, many current short-term rentals would be written out by the new ordinance.
I understand that some people are concerned about congestion, restaurant availability, but imposing these drastic restrictions, you are not just reducing the number of visitors, you are jeopardizing businesses, eliminating jobs, and stripping South Haven of its vibrancy.
After hearing the public testimony, the council postponed their vote on the new ordinance so they could take additional time to consider what they heard. As drafted, the updated ordinance proposal sets occupancy limits, creates zoning restrictions, and requires existing short-term rentals to comply with the new rules within 180 days after adoption. The city postponed further consideration of the ordinance until their March 17th meeting. A 200-unit apartment complex is being proposed in Lincoln Township. Great Lakes Capital out of South Bend gave a brief presentation to the Lincoln Township Planning Commission Monday to introduce the planned development at the site of the former Snowflake Motel. I used to have a dog named Snowflake. I did. She was all black.
Okay.
But she had one little white patch on her, and so my parents called her Snowflake.
Cute.
Well, you know.
That was the most random left curve.
Sorry about that. All right. So at the site of the former Snowflake Motel at 3822 Red Arrow Highway, the plan is to construct 7 buildings, 3 stories high, with covered parking, a community building, and a pool. Isaac Hall is with Great Lakes Capital and told us the firm sees opportunity in Lincoln Township.
A lot of our folks that work in our office are actually from Michigan, so we're very familiar with the area and saw it as an opportunity not only to bring economic development to the area, but also housing development that is drastically underserved in this area.
Hall gave an overview of the plan to the Planning Commission on Monday, but a much more thorough discussion will take place next month when the commission holds a public hearing on the Great Lakes Capital zoning or rezoning request. Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber President Arthur Havlicek was present Monday to speak in favor of the project. He told us the area really needs this kind of affordable and attainable housing.
And if you look across the state, you'll see that 200-unit developments are few and far between. So what this will do for the economic vitality and even more so the sustainability of Lincoln Charter Township and the broader region is immense, and we're thrilled to support it.
Hall told us rents at this complex would likely range from $900 to $2,100 per month, depending on the unit size and location. The Planning Commission voted Monday to set a public hearing for April 7 at 6:05 p.m. to learn more. Great Lakes Capital is seeking to have the site rezoned from commercial to high-density residential. The former Snowflake Motel near the Bosch plant was demolished in 2006. Havlicek says the new proposal is a great opportunity to redevelop an historically underutilized site. And the Benton Harbor Soup Kitchen has found a new home. In a statement from the Soup Kitchen Board President, Casey Gast, the organization has reached an agreement to buy the building currently owned by Lark's on Main Street in Benton Harbor. Yeah, a lot of barbecue fans are going to be very upset about that. But it's for a really, really good cause. Gast says the sale agreement has been signed and the construction planning is underway. He says the building is in very good shape, but will need to be modified to begin service by May 1st. The Benton Harbor Soup Kitchen is currently operating out of the Salvation Army building at 233 Michigan Street, but was informed in February that their lease was canceled due to significant structural issues with the parts of the building they occupied, the Salvation Army making the decision to not renovate after learning the cost of such repairs. Gast said the soup kitchen anticipates holding a fundraiser sometime soon to purchase new equipment and to help make minor building modifications. That's a look at some of the news that we're covering in the WSJM newsroom today. We have more. It's Tuesday, March 4th, 7:11 is the time. And let's do our chamber update right now, because we're running a little bit ahead of schedule, so we can do this. We have Sarah Spoonholtz in the studio this morning from the Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber, and you have a special guest in studio. Do you want to introduce Brian? What do you want to do? You want to go through your recap? I can introduce Brian. Brian Wisniewski, shareholder with Hungerford, is here as well. Tell us what you're talking about today.
So first off, recapping our business recognition breakfast.
Yes.
We had...
Which WSJM was live at, and Sarah Spoonholtz was able to co-host here
for like
on the morning show.
Until all of a sudden I had to actually do my duties. Yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you, by the way, for that.
No,
and thanks,
absolutely.
Mike, for coming out and joining and tagging, letting me tag him in there. But
yeah,
we had 2 years in a row, had over 630 on the guest list, had nearly 600 in the room once, people who were sick and everything couldn't make it. But gave away 8 different awards, had a fantastic keynote from Drew Dudley, and it was just overall like what an amazing event. Hungerford has been a sponsor for, I think yesterday I mentioned 4 years, but I think it's actually been closer to 5 years that Hungerford has been a sponsor, one of our amazing sponsors for the event. So in addition to being able to help spotlight the breakfast, we want to also be able to help spotlight Hungerford and everything that they're doing, because they are a fantastic company. Brian mentioned on the live stream, he's been part of, he's been doing tax seasons for 39 years
39 years.
39 years.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Right out of college. And I am the oldest shareholder of Hungerford, so
okay,
I'm on my way out. 5-6 years probably, but it's time. 39 is plenty.
The pencil's getting
seasons.
short. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah. So before letting Brian jump in, just want to recap really quickly our winners. Best New Business, the Lab Martial Arts and Fitness. Small Business of the Year was Ville Walks Outdoor Living. Nonprofit Excellence went to Harbor Country Mission. They're a 2-time winner. They were our inaugural back in 2019, and then they came back and won again this year. Economic Impact went to Honor Credit Union. Community Placemaking completely caught them off guard. Berrien County Parks for the Silver Beach Playground Project. Rising Star was Sarah Lancaster of South Shore Health and Racquet Club. The Pat Moody Award went to Michelle Height. She is the supervisor for New Buffalo Township. And our Ambassador of the Year is the amazing Leanne Brownfield from Sturgis Bank and Trust.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations on a great event. It was
you.
a lot of fun to be there and to see the people come in. And Sarah told people, don't show up. The doors don't open until 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
6:30, 6:40. They were banging down the door. They were finding their way in. They were excited for the event and for good reason. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
Let's talk with Brian Wisniewski, shareholder with Hungerford, the original shareholder.
No, not the original.
All right, one of the
shareholder.
first.
No.
One of the longest holding.
One of the oldest.
Okay.
I
was dancing around that.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of their shareholders retire in the last couple of years, so it's not like Brian's been like the oldest for a while. But
you want us to? What would you like to tell us about today?
I just want to tell you a little bit about Hungerford. We are a locally owned, full-service CPA firm. We help closely held businesses, family-owned businesses, take care of audit, tax, accounting needs, fraud and litigation services. I mean, we have over 100 employees firm-wide. We have locations here in St. Joe, plus Greenville, Grand Rapids, Holland, and Muskegon. Our local office is on Ship Street, right across the street from Sarah. So she never stops by, though. So
I do.
know.
You're just always busy.
I'm back in my corner. Yep. Hungerford's been around since 1941. So Hungerford's been around for 84 years. Our main office is in Grand Rapids. We have Gerbil and Company from St. Joe merged in January 1 of 2018. That's when I became a shareholder. I was with Bob Gerbil since 1986. So I spent many years right out of college. I started with him. I'm local, born here, raised here. So we are a local firm, even though it's a large firm. Proud to be on the leading edge of technology. We have a technology division that take care of IT, manage IT services, take care of cybersecurity, IT. The cybersecurity, they won't even let me plug anything into my computer anymore. They're so concerned about that.
That makes sense.
And we also have a Hungerford Wealth Division, trusted advisors, take care of assist individuals with retirement, investment planning, tax strategies, Can also help with 401k plans. We have a team that audits 401k plans if we need that. So
They're a multi division company that they can help
great.
you in multi facets.
Outstanding. How do people get a hold of you at Hungerford if they need more information?
you can always reach us at our website, hungerford.com. We're on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Local phone number, 269-983-0534. Or you can always stop in our offices at 800 Ship Street just to say hi.
Most interesting deduction you've seen over 39 years of doing taxes.
Oh.
Ooh. I saw somebody, the Berrien County Youth Fair,
Okay.
they sell the rabbits. So if you buy a rabbit or something, it's a donation.
Yeah.
Had a client pay for enough for a rabbit that their children's college was paid for.
Wow.
So that was a deduction
That was one
for the
expensive
Berrien
rabbit.
County Youth Fair. But then the child got the
They got the college
the
education.
money, and that was enough to pay for college.
That is super
So,
cool. Because when you take an animal to fair, you think, oh, this is going to be horrible. They're going to send it to slaughter, and somebody's going to eat it. It's going to be part of
Not
a
always
fricassee.
the case.
All right, fine. But I'm just going to worst case scenario here.
Right.
But they got a
Right.
college education out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Well, and if they're really good, the company will come in, they'll buy the animal. So
Yeah.
whether it's the cow, the goat, the rabbit, whatever it is, and then they'll give it back to the kid.
Yes, there you go. I like that. That didn't happen.
Doesn't always happen
Not
like
to
that.
my lamb.
Doesn't
Yeah.
always happen like that. But yeah.
Brian Wisniewski is with Hungerford. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Sarah Spoonholtz with Southwest Michigan Regional Chamber. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right. And right now we have sports, and then we're going to start our interview on the video live stream with Marcy Hamilton, the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. We look forward to learning a little bit more about who you are and what you do and what the Southwest Michigan the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission is all about. So we'll talk about
many
that.
Southwest Michigan
All
this morning.
kinds of stuff. Southwest Michigan is just a powerhouse. 7:18. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Playoff game.
Okay, and we're just going to keep rolling here. We're on the video live stream now. How you doing? Is that Red Bull? What are you drinking there?
No, it's Milani.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's like a Red Bull, only.
Very good. See you. Thanks for your patience. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
Marcy Hamilton is with Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, and we'll start this interview here on the radio in just a moment. But let me make sure that one goes over there. Okay, that one goes there. Sorry, this is some of the stuff that I do on the background. Somebody's put a placeholder in here, and I don't think that needs to be there. We're on the video live stream. Good morning so far to Bill and others. If you have any questions about the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, feel free to put them into the video chat, and we'll take a look at those throughout the interview. We're going to learn who Marcy Hamilton is. We ask for origin story.
Okay.
And at the end of the interview, keep a note of this. I'm going to ask, what do you do when you're not working? So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
All those things and more coming up right now on the WSJM Morning Show.
Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's 7:20, and what's our temperature outside? 42 degrees in Benton Harbor. We expect rain to start up again and go for the next hour or so, both in Benton Harbor and in St. Joseph. It's 41 degrees and cloudy in St. Joseph, 41 and cloudy in South Haven, Dowagiac, 41 degrees. Again, as we mentioned on the weather a few times today, it's going to be rainy today, rainy tomorrow, maybe a slight chance of snow tomorrow afternoon. We are visiting this morning on the WSJM Morning Show with Ken and Friends. Our friend this morning is Marcy Hamilton with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Give us the origin story. People who come in and sit in that chair, we often ask, where are you from? Give us your background. How did you get to where you are?
That's I'm actually from Ohio. I grew up in Ohio, went to school in Ohio, and
Are you a Buckeye?
I am a Buckeye fan. I did not go to Ohio State, but I went to a small school. So my family's from Ohio, especially around the Columbus area. I'm from the Toledo area.
Okay.
But studied environmental science and biology and got out of college and found a job here in Southwest Michigan at the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, where I currently work. And with my degree in environmental science, I was working in Ohio doing solid waste management and recycling programs. And so I was hired on here to do the solid waste management plan for Cass County.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I got to Michigan and got.
What do you do for a living? Well, I plan what they're going to do with their solid waste.
Yes.
What is that like? Where do you even start with something like that?
Yeah. So it was a requirement of the state to have, for counties to have a solid waste management plan. So I was actually involved in Berrien and Van Buren's too, because those are the 3 counties that we cover at our agency. But specifically, I was the one facilitating the Cass County plan. And yeah, you look at who all the haulers are, where it's all going, what's being recycled, what is available for recycling, how can we increase recycling rates. And so it was interesting that that's what I was hired for. And then kind of that work kind of faded in the background and there wasn't a lot going on. But now, just in the last year, now they're calling it materials management, not solid waste management anymore. Materials management. So,
that's the new term. Why did they make the change?
Just to try to make it more like it's a resource. Like, let's just not take it all to the landfill. Let's manage the materials, anything that can be reused or recycled or composted with, yard waste and food waste. And so managing materials seems more appropriate to deal with.
It makes me feel better about it. I've got a television and I have a microwave, both of which do not work right now. And obviously, I'm not going to just put them in the regular waste. Number one, they won't fit in the bin. Number two, I probably shouldn't do that anyway. Yeah. And so materials management makes a lot of sense because reduce, reuse, recycle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Recycling, can we stray off into that area for just a moment?
Sure.
Explain recycling. How does it work? How does it work in our area? And when I put something in a recycle bin, does it always get recycled?
I would say most likely it does. I know there's been a lot of things where some materials, there may be some times where some materials there's not a market for and it may not, but mostly I think people are really trying to find those markets, and there may be a small amount of time that something's not getting to the right waste stream and to the right stream to be recycled, but most time it is.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
And our county holds wonderful recycling days around the county at different locations where you can take. I know they do a great job of sourcing those vendors to make sure that those are being recycled. And we have some. And you said electronics. We have Green Earth in here in town. Takes anything with a cord, pretty much all batteries. I know they do everything they can to get those to the right places to be recycled.
And recycling, I mean, to me, it almost gets a little bit complicated, and I appreciate that I just have one recycle bin at the end of the day and somebody else is sorting it. It's not like that in all places. And if you look at the bottom of like a plastic container or something like that, there are different numbers, different categories of what can be recycled. And as you mentioned, there's not always a market for all the different types of recyclables that are out there.
Yeah, and that's a big thing is contamination, and people need to follow the directions of whoever their hauler is, if that's where you're recycling, of what's being accepted or not. There are a lot of places in our region that don't even have access to curbside recycling or drop-off recycling. So, we'll be doing these materials management plans for the 3 counties and trying to increase that recycling availability to our residents.
All right. So sorry for going down that path for a moment, but you mentioned the recycling. I love talking about that. So you're handling the at the time the solid waste plan for Cass County. It grew into kind of the Tri-County area, or it is the Tri-County area. But then your job morphed?
Yeah. So we're a small organization. There's about anywhere between 9 to 12 of us at any given time. So planners. So my background isn't in planning, but kind of learned on the job. And so being a small shop, we all share work and responsibilities. So I've done everything from master plans. You mentioned South Haven. I'm actually working on their master plan right now. I do recreation plans for communities. So basically, our agency serves all the municipalities in the 3 counties.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, for those who maybe have heard the name or maybe those who haven't even heard the name, what is it that you do? What are you charged with?
Yeah, so first of all, maybe what are we? That's kind of like a lot of people don't know who we are, or what we do, or anything. But we were actually created by the state of Michigan. So there's 14 regions in Michigan. So we're one of 14 regions, all different sizes. We cover 3 counties. And so those regions were kind of created by the state, and then they were authorized to become an organization. But our 3 counties had to come together and form us. So 3 counties did that back in the early 70s. And they created our boards. We have a board of directors. So we operate kind of like a nonprofit. We're kind of quasi-governmental. We have no authority over anything.
Right.
And but we have a board of directors that's made up of local officials and people in the community. And we're very diverse. We basically help out with any issue that's regional. You know, a lot of things like transportation, water quality, these things aren't, you know, just a single municipality isn't going to deal with these on their own because there's interconnected systems. So we convene people to look at broader regional issues. So we're there as a resource for the counties and for the municipalities in terms of transportation planning, economic development, housing, which Sarah was talking about, and we're involved in that. Environmental issues. One of my passions is water quality and watersheds. The solid waste management, like we mentioned, public transit, parks and recreation.
Yeah, it's comforting to know that there is an expert resource for all the municipalities to look to when they're considering these issues. Because as you mentioned, those issues, as you're going through the transportation, the solid waste, the environment, the water quality, all of that, it doesn't know political boundaries.
Right.
It just knows regional. It just does its thing regionally. And so if you don't have somebody in the background who says, okay, well, if you go ahead and put this widget plant here, this is going to have an impact over here, and here's what it's going to do to all these various things. And so you're the panel of experts that has the historical knowledge and can do the research and everything else.
Right. Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Is that a good characterization?
That is absolutely right. Yep. We're a resource here for the municipalities in Southwest Michigan to really make this place a better place to live, work, and play, and through all these different systems that we're managing and helping with.
Who's your favorite municipality?
Oh, God.
You don't have to answer that.
That's so hard. I have so many favorites.
We're talking with Marcy Hamilton. She's with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. We just talked about what they are. We'll be talking in a couple of minutes more about some of the things that they do, and we'll if you want, we can talk about watersheds.
Yes,
because a lot of different projects that are in various stages around here, and some hopefully getting a little bit some movement forward. So we'll talk about that. And more coming up in just a couple of minutes right here on the WSJM Morning Show. It's 7:29. We've got to get some financial news out of the way here with Bloomberg. We'll have that market minute in a couple of minutes. We'll have the latest from ABC News, our local WSJM newsroom, and more. It's coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
What would you call a free account that helps you save automatically? Amazing? Incredible?
Back on the video live stream. Yeah, we don't take a break. We just keep going.
That's amazing.
How are you doing? Is this good? Is this all right?
This is great.
Okay.
I love it.
Good. So you've been with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. What municipality do you live in? May we ask?
Yeah, sure. I live in St. Joe now. I lived here just over 10 years. Before that, I lived up in South Haven Township.
Okay. South Haven. Wow. They have a very vocal population.
Yes, they do.
We heard on the short. I was watching the meeting last night about short-term rentals, and they had a lot of public comment. Why is it that the short-term rental issue just won't go away?
Well, it's interesting. Talking about housing, it has a big impact on housing. I know when I lived in South Haven, I think it was about 60% second home, or
the population there.
Yeah,
okay.
And it made it interesting for a community to deal with that. I think now people are kind of there more year round, but years ago, like 20 plus years ago, and I was there in the wintertime, it was just so quiet and dead.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I took my daughter trick-or-treating, I'm like, there's no houses.
Nobody has their light on.
Like, where do you go trick-or-treating here?
Yeah.
It was really strange to live in a town that had so much second homes. I thought we lived out in the township on kind of a more rural roads. We weren't in town where see a lot more of it. But it does have impacts. I mean, I understand that people are doing it. They're it's a business. It's now it is bringing tourism and people there, but it also has impacts to the community and how a community operates when there's not, people living there full time.
Yeah.
And it can affect the schools, the school population.
Housing prices.
Housing prices is probably the biggest thing. And actually, that's why I moved to St. Joe.
Yeah.
As,
The prices were better here?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, in St. Joe, they restrict where short-term rentals can happen.
Yeah.
So I don't live in that area.
Yeah.
I live in the area of the city where there aren't short-term rentals and I can afford a house. So that is a big thing. Like Bridgman has restrictions on short-term rentals, and their housing you'll see is more affordable than New Buffalo, who, has more short-term rentals. So there's, like anything, pros and cons, and a community has to work on what they want to be and how they want to operate their community, and there's a lot of different interests. Let's just say that have to, and especially in a town where like it's kind of gone. St. Joe and Bridgman had restrictions in pretty early.
Right.
It's always hard to, like with South Haven or like a New Buffalo, to go back and try to do it after it's already grown so much.
Right.
Because then there can, I think the people are saying, be these negative impacts to people, and that's hard.
Yeah. No, that very well. Thank you for sharing that. Very, very complex issue. And the thing that you mentioned that resonates with me a lot is what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
And a lot of communities are stuck on that question. And when I came into the role of news director here at WSJM, when I went around and talked with a lot of the stakeholders in this region, they pointed at St. Joe a lot and said their main issue is they really haven't decided, or they haven't settled on what they want to be when they grow up. And is it a tourist town or is it not a tourist town? Is it some mix of both? Is that achievable?
Yeah.
And so I think we'll continue to wrestle with that question for some time. But at the very least, at least there are good people with statistics and facts and trends of what has happened in the past who can bring those forward. So we'll continue our conversation with Marcy Hamilton in just a moment. She's with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, and we'll continue that after a couple of news items here. We've got Bloomberg right now. We'll hear the rest of that. We'll get a weather forecast, get into ABC News and our local news. It's all coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show.
World's largest bilateral trade relationships. It's worth more than $900 billion in annual goods and services. A Chipotle Mexican Grill uses avocados, lots of them, so tariffs imposed on Mexican imports could weigh on its profit margins. The company says it aims to absorb the potential cost increases rather than raising customer prices. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show, 7:34 on Tuesday, March 4th. Checking the temperatures out there. It's raining, 40 degrees and rain in Benton Harbor right now, 41 degrees and some rain. You can expect light rain for the next hour there in St. Joseph. South Haven, 41 degrees and cloudy skies. Dowagiac is 41 degrees and rain. New Buffalo, rain, 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 rain. That's what we expect in the forecast today. Cloudy skies, an 80% chance of rain throughout the day, a high around 53 degrees. Breezy conditions. You can expect the wind out of the south, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, cloudy and the rain continues. Windy conditions, 46 for a low overnight. But the southeast wind is going to howl at around 30 miles per hour. Those are going to be the gusts. Otherwise, 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then Wednesday forecast for tomorrow, cloudy skies, 80% chance of rain showers continuing, changing over to snow by the afternoon. And evening. So be careful of that as you go through. Windy conditions, falling temperatures in the afternoon, a high around 50, but then it'll fall toward that snow permissible temperature range in the evening. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Let's look at the extended forecast for just a brief moment. Thursday, partly sunny. Windy, though, and cold. A slight chance of snow showers early in the day. The high is going to be around 35 degrees on Thursday. Friday, we're looking at mostly cloudy conditions, a 30% chance of a rain-snow mix. High around 38, low around 27. Weekend, partly sunny. In fact, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, looking at partly sunny skies, cool conditions. 40 degrees for a high on Saturday, 43 for a high on Sunday, and 52 for a high on Monday. Spring cannot be stopped. It's on its way. 7:35 WSJM Morning Show continues. ABC News now, and our local news is coming up next.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump imposing 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and doubling tariffs to 20% on Chinese imports as well.
Canada responding with a 25% tariff of its own on American goods. Economists warn those tariffs are paid for by American businesses, and those costs are then passed on to American consumers by raising prices. The Yale Budget Lab estimates that the tariffs could cost the average household up to $2,000 annually.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio in Washington. Target topping fourth quarter expectations. However, it's warning this morning those tariffs will have an impact on its business. Tonight, President Trump will deliver an address to a joint session of Congress, his first this term. That speech could include discussions of Ukraine. Overnight, the White House announced it was pausing all military aid. Pope Francis now off mechanical ventilation as he continues his fight against pneumonia. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:37, the WSJM Morning Show continues. I'm Ken Lundberg. Some of the stories, the news stories we have from the WSJM Newsroom coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Benton Harbor City Commissioners have voted to make an emergency transfer of nearly $500,000 from the city income tax fund to the general fund to help them pay bills. We'll have more on that story in the debate last night before they approved that emergency transfer. That's coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. The Benton Harbor Soup Kitchen has found a new home. In a statement from the Soup Kitchen Board President, Casey Gast, the organization has reached an agreement to buy the building that's currently owned by Lark's on Main Street in Benton Harbor, Lark's Barbecue. So some transition going on there, so at least it's going to a good home. And then also the South Haven City Council heard an earful last night about proposed updates to its short-term rental regulations. We'll have that story and more coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. We're continuing our conversation with Marcy Hamilton. She's with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. We'll have that in just a moment. We'll continue it on the video live stream. But first, we've got to get to sports with Dave Wolf right after a look at state news from the Michigan News Network.
The Michigan News Network.
All right. Let's see. It's the WSJM Morning Show. The video live stream continues. Taking a look at what we have on our live stream as far as comments. Ton of good morning things. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Diane. Let's see. Teresa says, yuck, I am so sick of the snow.
Yeah.
Diane says, I am too, need sunshine. It's going to be sunny. It's
Yeah?
gonna be
When?
and well, it'll be sunny just in time for us to spring forward. Why do we keep changing the clocks?
Yeah, I have to say it doesn't bother me that
Really?
much. No.
But you lose an hour of sleep.
I know. Well, then you gain an hour.
That's true. I love the gaining of the
I know,
hour.
right?
I hate the losing.
Right. So, you got to gain to lose sometimes,
Yeah.
right?
I wish Congress would figure this out. I know they got close like 2 or 3 years ago to getting rid of it. I at least want to try it. Let's just try it for a couple of years. Sure. And see what it's like to not have the clock. Because I think the big fear is, well, then it's going to be dark and, I don't know. It's weird stuff. Weird stuff. We're talking with Marcy Hamilton. She's Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, and some of the things that you've been working on recently. What are the big projects that are in progress, in play right now?
Yeah. One of the biggest projects I'm working on right now is with the Ox Creek watershed.
Yes.
So Ox Creek is a small little creek that flows through Benton Harbor.
It's right out there.
Yeah, that's Willow Creek.
Oh, sorry, that's not Ox Creek. That's Willow Creek, Marcy.
Yes.
Okay, this is Willow.
Got to know your.
You know your waterways well.
Know your watershed.
No, that's good.
So, in fact, I had a student from Andrews call me yesterday, and her assignment was to write a paper of what watershed she lived in and where the water flowed to. And so I sent her a bunch of resources and
fantastic.
Maps and information. I'm like, yes, I love this.
So for people who don't know, where does Ox Creek flow in our area?
Yeah. So if you're familiar out at Lake Michigan College where all those ponds are, those actually part of Ox Creek watershed. That water leaves there and flows through some streams into Benton Harbor. And also, there's another branch that starts out by 31 or 131 or 31, sorry.
Okay.
31 and flows through Benton Township and goes across 94, right where the Home Depot is.
Okay.
And then flows behind kind of the Dodge dealership there and all that, and flows near where the cemetery is at Crystal Springs, and then it kind of follows along Pipestone.
Okay.
All the way through Benton Harbor, and then crosses Main Street near Chatterbox.
Oh, okay.
In Benton Harbor.
Yeah.
And then goes around Javis, around the Arts District, then flows through Harbor Shores out into the Paw Paw River.
And what you just described is why we need a Southwest Michigan Planning Commission.
Right.
Because you think about, it starts out there by Lake Michigan College, but it's going by Chatterbox, and just everything that happens in between affects that.
Right. Yeah. And so when you're looking at the health of a waterway, you need to look at what's happening on the land that's draining to it.
Yeah.
And so everybody lives in a watershed. And so wherever you live, your water falling on your yard or your driveway, it's going into a storm drain or into the nearest creek, and then makes its way into a lake or river or stream, and then ultimately everything ends up out in Lake Michigan.
Yep.
In our Great Lakes. So we really need to look at what we're doing on the land. That's what impacts our water quality in our rivers and streams and lakes.
What would you say the status of Ox Creek is right now? What's its health? How is the patient?
So Ox Creek has suffered a lot over the years. We've had some industry that polluted it. That's kind of a legacy pollutants of heavy metals and different pollutants that it's dealing with. All the development that's happened around the Orchards Mall area there on I-94, Napier, and Pipestone creates what we call impervious surfaces. So when the water hits all that pavement and
parking
rooftops,
lots, and rooftops.
Yep, it goes into storm drains, and the way it was developed, we just push that water straight out to the nearest creek, which is Ox Creek. And so after a big rain, like we're seeing now, all that water goes so quickly into the creek that it kind of blows out the habitat for the fish and for all the critters. And so if you're familiar, we built the rain garden at Meyer.
Yep.
So the whole kind of what we're trying to do there is filter that water, slow it down, soak it in so that it's being filtered and reaches the creek more slowly. And that way has a chance to be filtered out and cleaner and slowed down, and so it's not blowing out that habitat. So we're trying to do more of those projects out there. We're working with Walmart actually, hoping to do some similar rain gardens on their property. We're also hoping to do some stuff at Home Depot to do that. So Ox Creek has got a lot of issues that are affecting it. But it's amazing, though. Like, my friend was out there the other day. He works for the city of Benton Harbor. He's our Ox Creek project manager, and he found some native mussels out there in the creek. And he's seen some pretty amazing fish. Like I think I saw a northern pike in there.
No kidding.
So these animals are still there and still surviving, but we're trying to improve the creek and restore it so that we can be more healthier.
Those water gardens, water retention areas, rain gardens. You think they'll move forward with the two that you talked about? And
I really.
What's the timeline on those?
So we have some funding in place. I think we'll start seeing some. Either it'll be this fall or early spring. We'll start doing some more, either at the Walmart or Home Depot site.
That's great. Need any approvals for that?
Just working with the companies and trying to, working with the retail location and the timing and all that. Just a lot of coordination and.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. Now the Meyer one it does a tremendous job. Can you quantify that one at all?
So
here, hold that thought. I've got to get us back on the radio. In just a moment on WSJM.
Cloudy skies with rain showers through the day. Occasionally lightning will be possible. It's going to be breezy and warm with high temperatures around 50 degrees. Tonight, cloudy, still rain showers, windy. We stay at 46. And tomorrow, we'll see rain showers, highs near 50 early, dropping into the 30s, so we'll see snow by Wednesday evening. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
WSJM Morning Show, 745. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Marcy Hamilton. She's with the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, and I'm showing off all kinds of half knowledge that I have. No. It's a fascinating topic. I learned that we have Willows Creek right out back.
Willow Creek.
Does it touch Ox Creek at all?
No.
Okay, fine. That's all right. Is it clean?
It's all of our waterways suffers from some pollution.
Yeah,
and that's
urban areas, it's tough.
Yes, and especially in urbanized areas where there's a lot of parking lots and pavement, and things are running off of lawns and.
Yeah, we were talking about the Meyer Rain Garden,
Yes.
And I asked, because I'm popping all kinds of questions, and one of them is about quantifying a rain garden versus a parking lot. Any good examples that you can help people understand why it's important to have water retention areas like that?
Yeah, so I probably could if I don't have it on the tip of my tongue of how many gallons or water, but I mean that area, the one rain garden we have out there is very large, and that used to all be a parking lot.
Yeah.
And so by removing that pavement, number one was just a big difference, and then creating the space and the plants to uptake all that water. Hundreds of thousands of gallons of water are being filtered and uptake through the plants that are now there instead of just running into a drain and into the creek.
And like you said, slowed down, naturally,
yes.
so that it's not blowing out the ecosystem that is taking up root downstream.
Right.
Okay. So watersheds are a big deal. Some of the things that we can look forward to, you mentioned a couple of the rain gardens that you're working on in areas. Ox Creek, what's the next big thing that we can see there? I mean, you said, a lot of industry has impacted for many years. It must be exciting what's happening with modern plastics.
Yeah, that's a piece of it. It's right on Ox Creek, and now with the new ownership with Harbor Shores, they're going to be cleaning that up and hopefully seeing some nice new redevelopment there. So that's a big win for Ox Creek. We have another site called Harbor Plating that we're working with Eagle and EPA on trying to get that cleaned up too. Another opportunity to get that pollution cleaned up and help the creek. But the biggest thing we're going to see here, there's actually a public meeting tomorrow night at the Benton Harbor Library at 5 p.m. on Ox Creek Restoration Plan. And we've worked with the city and brought in funding to hire a consultant to develop a restoration plan for the creek. And we're going to do a pilot restoration at between Highland and Berrien, right along Hall Park. And so we hope to start construction on that later this fall.
That's really exciting.
It's very exciting.
So the presentation will walk people through what it is that's going to happen?
Yes.
What are some of the things that are going to happen?
Yeah, so right now there's been a lot of debris that's been deposited into that floodplain area along the creek. So a lot of that will be removed. And then we're going to the creek had been kind of straightened, so we'll kind of make sure it has some curves in it. And there's a bunch of woody debris in there that we're going to take out, but not take out of the system, because woody debris actually is good for creeks. We're just going to place it in areas to keep the creek more natural and let the water flow and try to get the sediment to flow through there so it doesn't pond up as much. And then the last part of the restoration is a lot of planting of trees and native plants, and to try to get rid of some of the invasive species that have found their way down there.
Yeah. What are the biggest obstacles that you find between the work that you're helping with and what it is today? What are some of the big obstacles out there? Time, money, agreement?
Funding is definitely an issue. We've been really lucky up to this point to have the interest of EPA and NOAA and other agencies, and they're investing in Ox Creek, and they see the need to do so and to improve that waterway, because it is one of our most impacted waterways in Southwest Michigan. So I've been working on it for probably 15 years. So it takes time and it takes money and it takes alignment. Having the city of Benton Harbor recognize the importance of Ox Creek to their community, the city commission passed a resolution unanimously saying they want to restore the creek. They did that back in 2019, I believe. And so to have that alignment of the government and landowners. Like a lot of the improvements have to be done on private property, like the Meijer and the Walmarts and that. So to get everybody on board and moving towards the same goal takes time and money.
Yeah. No. Well, thank you for doing that work. We appreciate it. And I mean, at the end of the day, it makes a cleaner environment for all of us, including drinking water.
Yes, definitely.
And the fish we get out of Lake Michigan when we eat them.
Yes. All this water is going into Lake Michigan. Our beaches are right there by the piers where, the St. Joe River comes out. So it's very important that we look at the health of these creeks and rivers in our communities and how it's impacting not even the community it's in, but then where it's going, like you said, the Great Lakes.
Since you mentioned the EPA, there was a grant that came from the EPA, $16 million. You helped write some of the grant request, wrote the grant for that. And so what is the status of that right now?
Right now, so we did get the grant award from EPA in early January. So that is in place. Our grant was supposed to start on February 1st, but we have not seen the money yet in the account that it's supposed to go into yet. It's not available yet where we would draw down the funds. So we're working with EPA. They're not sure what's going on. They're trying to go up the chain to find out why the money's not showing up in our account, because we do have an award that's been executed for the grant.
So, I mean, essentially the money was there in the budget and it was allocated, and it just hasn't made its way to that yet, and probably because of some of the things that are happening with the new administration.
Yes, absolutely.
Any opportunity to talk to the members of Congress? Are they potentially helpful in this?
We're getting to that level. I've been mostly working with the folks at EPA, trying to track down what's going on, if it's just a technical issue or, what's happening. Because at some point, almost all of our federal funds in the account were frozen back in January from other grants that we had been drawing down for years. And part of it is the Ox Creek grant from NOAA that we have. And we tried to do a drawdown of that money in January, and it didn't come through. But now it's back up and running. So we're just trying to figure it out. And, we feel that we have doing some great work in Southwest Michigan with federal funding that we get. And so we're hoping to make sure it's secure and that we can actually bring it to the community to do the good work that it was intended to do.
Anxiety level, scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
10 being worst.
Yeah. January and February has been a couple of rough months.
Been a challenge. All right. We'll come back and continue this conversation and conclude it with Marcy Hamilton. She's with Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. That's coming up right after this. It's part of our Moody on the Market update on WSJM.
There's a new player in town.
Back on the video live stream, 7:54. We've got just a couple of messages here, and then we will get to it. That's got to be, it's ironic because you're the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, and yet you have a hard time planning right now because of the status of money is unknown.
Yeah, it's definitely taking a lot of my time away from I'm working on several great, wonderful projects here in Southwest Michigan, and it's definitely taking a lot of my time away from these good projects to deal with a lot of this stuff, unfortunately.
If the money isn't there, and what happens to those projects?
They're not going to happen. I mean, there's so many projects around Southwest Michigan that it takes federal, state, and local funds to make happen. The other ones we were talking about the other day is trails. We have that groundbreaking on Monday down in Buchanan for the McCoys Creek extension. That is federal money, state money, local money, all going into these things to bring these wonderful amenities to our community. So almost every project that we work on, it's a mix of federal, state, and local funds that are going to make these things happen in our communities.
Yeah. Okay. We'll be right back. More from Marcy Hamilton, Southwest Michigan Planning Commission, in just a moment right here on WSJM.
St. Joseph and Niles.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:55 WSJM Morning Show continues. It's time for your Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph, and in Niles. And we bring you on the Moody on the Market update, we bring you business updates. We bring you life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and interesting people you should know. I think we fill at least a couple of those buckets here. Life in Southwest Michigan and why we love it here, and interesting people you should know with Marcy Hamilton, Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. Marcy, we've talked a lot about what you do for work.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're not working, when you're not planning stuff for the region?
I work a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
But when I'm not, I like to enjoy Southwest Michigan. I love to go to our restaurants and to our breweries and to our wineries. I love the beach.
Yeah.
I love going to our beaches. I love looking for beach glass.
Yeah.
I have 2 dogs, so we like to take them out and about.
What kind of dogs?
A black lab and a blue heeler.
A blue heeler?
Yeah.
What is that?
Like a Australian cattle dog, herder
Okay.
dog.
Oh, nice. Is the black lab well behaved?
She's pretty good. Yeah, she's pretty well behaved. She's about 2 years old, so she's still
Oh, my
a little
goodness.
young, but she's a really great dog.
That's fantastic. So you go hiking around, enjoy the outdoors.
Yes, I love to go kayaking on our rivers and streams that I try to keep clean. So I don't get out as much to enjoy the trails, but try to. I love to walk and hike and bike. And all
Nice.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I mean, we have a lot of good amenities here, and we appreciate your work and the work of the Southwest Michigan Planning Commission in helping to preserve those, protect those, and rehabilitate those where necessary. Because people think about, okay, well, what can I do today? Well, you can go outside and enjoy Southwest Michigan because we have people thinking about that. Good. All right. What else?
What else? I spent a lot of time. I have a daughter that's in college, so
Where does she go?
She's up at Ferris.
Nice.
Studying pharmacy.
Okay.
So she's busy. So I like to go up and visit her up there, and she's got spring break this next week, so we're going on a trip to Belize. So I love to travel.
Fun. Excellent. Talking a little bit about the trails here, you've got the trail ribbon cutting because of work. Well, not ribbon cutting, but the groundbreaking. Excuse me. The groundbreaking is going to start in Buchanan. Can you give us the details on that in case anybody's interested in attending?
Absolutely. So Monday, the 10th, this coming up Monday, we're going to be out at River St. Joe Brewery at 10 a.m. and have a ceremony there, a short ceremony with some folks speaking, then, putting the golden shovel into the ground to break the ground on that project. We'll have some coffee and donuts for folks. So if you want to come out, it is open to the public and come celebrate with us on that groundbreaking. That's going to be a new trail that's going to extend. If you haven't been on the McCoy's Creek Trail in Buchanan, I highly recommend it.
It's great. It's a great trail.
Beautiful. It follows the Coldwater Creek there, Trout Stream, McCoy's Creek, and it's lovely.
Yeah, don't tell anybody about the trout in the stream, though.
Yeah, right.
No, that's super nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning and spending some time with us. Marcy Hamilton, Southwest Michigan Planning Commission. Come back anytime.
Sure, I'd love to.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Tuesday, March 4th. It's 7:59. We've got news coming up next from the WSJM newsroom. Just a quick look at the forecast for today. It could be raining out where you are right now, and we do have cloudy skies and an 80% chance of rain throughout the day. A high around 53 degrees, breezy conditions, winds out of the south 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, it's going to be cloudy. It's going to continue to rain. 100% chance of rain tonight. Windy conditions, low around 46 degrees, southeast winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusts up to 30. And then tomorrow, as we go into Wednesday, it's going to be another rainy one. Cloudy skies, 80% chance of rain showers, changing to snow potentially by the evening. Windy conditions and falling temperatures in the afternoon. So Wednesday's going to start out mild, not bad, but then it's going to devolve into maybe a snow condition for Wednesday evening. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. We will take a look at your extended forecast. We'll get our local news. Right now we have our national news from ABC. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Tariffs on goods from Mexico.